Hello, hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everyone. How is everyone doing? Hey, Options 22. Where's Sterling this morning? We need the news, and Goolsby speaking right now. What is everybody doing watching me when you could be watching Fed speak from Goolsby? Good morning. Good morning, Jacob. Sorry, good morning, Patrick. I skipped your name. Hey, Eric. Good morning. Good afternoon from Belgium. Well, sounds very good. Thank you for tuning in. Good morning, Royal Palms. Oil hit a very key level yesterday. Hey, Alan, thank you for tuning in. Become a regular. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. So, let's see. Big information this morning was we got the GDP numbers out. Really, I mean, some people were forecasting 2.2 to 2.1, coming in at 2.1. That wasn't the big thing. The PCE numbers were roughly in line. Remember, this is for the whole quarter. This is backwards looking for the second quarter. We have the different PCE numbers out tomorrow for August. They're both backwards looking, but the numbers that came out are for the whole quarter for the second quarter. And we're almost at the end of the third quarter now. So, PCE 2.5, everything's been in line. I mean, they came down from the previous, but they were in line with what was expected. Jobless claims slightly better than forecast, both initial and continuing. But the real thing was real consumer spending quarter over quarter. These are the final numbers. Forecast 1.7, previous 3.8, coming in at a revised 0.8. That is significant. Here's a chart for you. Here's a little chart so you can see. This is 0.8. You can roughly see this was the immediate shutdown for the pandemic. So you can see then consumer spending with all the financial stimulus jumped, and now this is the lowest even pre-pandemic. I mean, until you get to roughly what was this about Q2 2019, this is the lowest it's been. So consumer really starting to get hit and take an impact. Oh, good. Sterling's in here now. Finally, Sterling. Sterling, I was counting on you with the Goolsby speech, and you're late again. You're going to get a tardy pass. Just kidding. Sterling will put in the Goolsby. Sterling, it's great to just have you in here, and thanks for all you do. So that's really what's key. We got coming up later, we got, besides Goolsby speaking right now, we got the Kansas City Fed Composite Manufacturing and Cook speaking this afternoon, and we got a Powell speech. I did not see what that Powell speech was about yet. I did not take time to look into it. Sorry about that. And tomorrow, not only is it quarter end of month, end of September, quarter end, so last trading day of the quarter, last trading day of the month, we get the PCE numbers from August out. And the PCE price index and everything else, and consumer expectations. So, and the consumer inflation expectations. So that's going to be busy tomorrow. So far this morning, mega caps are slightly mixed. Com services are bouncing a little. We did have Micron report yesterday with a beat, but down 2.5% going into the open. The groups real estate, basic materials, and utilities leading up. Consumer, cyclical, and technology are lower going into the open. Fed watch, nothing's really changed. It's still in pause mode through June. Fear and greed, we finally hit extreme fear. Does that mean we have to bounce? No. And does that mean we have to go to new highs? No. It means that I'm watching very closely for a bottoming pattern. As I said, Micron yesterday, the only thing interesting today, I did not take a look at CarMax this morning. I'm going to look at that sometime after the open, but I'm going to look at Nike after the close. What does BlackBerry do now, anyways? What do they do? All right, so we had some buying pressure. I am keeping an eye on this with quarter end. Yesterday afternoon, when we jumped on the 15-minute, I'm sure if you were trading intraday, you spotted this with the big momentum reversal. And so you see this price action, and we don't normally go down to this charts, but I think it's important. This 43.25 to about 43.30 area is very key. We start getting through there. I'm going to be watching for some follow through through the end of the quarter to the upside. We are oversold. We're at cycle bottoms. It's not been able to get much traction, but that buying pressure yesterday afternoon was very interesting. So right around the bot, we have a descending channel and ascending channel. So you see the ascending channel, you see the descending channel, you see the 200. You see the prior major resistance becoming support, and it's trying to at least find a short-term bottom in here. So that's what I am very, very focused on. That does not mean it has to happen. Remember what was it? A couple days ago we had the potential doubles that never triggered, they never even confirmed. They were just remained potentials until they were wiped out. But I'm watching that key area. This key area, I'll even put a line there. This is the first key area I am really paying attention to. 43.25. Above there, we start getting above there. I'm watching this low from Monday, which is coming in 43.48 roughly with the descending 4-hour rotation zone. And then above that, roughly we have, and this could be over the next couple of days if we get something strong going into quarter end, for about 43.57. To the downside. To the downside. I'm watching with this reversal off the lows yesterday. First, 43.03 to 42.97. We start getting a key close below 42.97 with poor tick and possibly downside momentum. I'll watch for a retest this low area yesterday. Other than that, so far, this 50% level's been tested twice and held up. So that's what I'm going off the open. What I'm watching off the open. That gives you a little idea of exactly how I'm going through stuff. So let's just take a quick look at the NASDAQ, the reversal off the 14,622.50 harmonic yesterday. I'm doing the same thing. Same thing. Little retracements here. Now the NASDAQ has come down to 6.2.5 a couple times already, but it's 14,674.25 on a closing basis, and that's not a 5-minute close unless we get major momentum. Other than that, if that level holds on the NASDAQ, it's really got to start getting above about 14,795 to really get any upside traction. If it stays in this range, it could be choppy trading and reversal trading. So I'm also aware of that. So there's no guarantee we will get any kind of trend day, but we prepare for every... Oh, by the way, the next major level low, if this lows does not hold, key levels, let me get back to that daily. Besides yesterday's low, that 14.6, what were the exact lows? 14.586 to 14.622. And the next major low is until 14.441, but I'd be shocked if we saw that going into quarter end. And this market, the way it's been recently, anything's possible. Same thing for the Dow. Watching the pullback level. The Dow's actually been holding up pretty decently. Right now, we retested the 50 overnight, 33,720. The key area I'm watching, though, for is about 33,870 for the up move. The key closing is 33,676. And then it'd be a retest of yesterday's low area. Russell holding up pretty good. The breakout area, and I'm not using the harmonics on the Russell, 1804 roughly. And the breakdown level is roughly 1782. So it's either a horizontal channel breakout or breakdown at this point. The VIX just dropping below that trend line, but a pretty decent reversal after the numbers came out. The pretty decent reversal after the GDP, and it was really based off that personal consumption number, a little bounce up in there with the markets sort of trying to retest some low areas. But I'll watch to see if the VIX retreats into the open. 18 is key for me today. The DAX also trying to put in some kind of bottom here. And this would be short term, and this is a well-formed double. So this would only be a short term. You see how it came up there? Didn't even confirm the double yet, but 15,408 on a 4-hour closing basis. 15,480, 15,513 cluster area, and there's still a gap left behind in 15,551. So if you're a DAX trader, there you go. This is a very key support level it's holding right now. So if it does roll over, I'm just watching for another retest of the lows to invalidate the bottom. Now this rolled over. This rolled over. We did have a little potential double before the numbers came out. That's what was on here. And you see spiked up, did not confirm or trigger it. And now this is not a double anymore. So there is no double pattern for the lows in the notes. We got some selling pressure coming after the numbers were released in the notes, and we got some yield going up. Sterling is still long. We did have a potential double, but this move, the spike move, with the numbers coming out, see it's 7:30. So before 7:30, we were, hey, there's the potential double I was keeping an eye on. 7:30, boom, invalidated. Never confirmed or triggered, of course, but yields climbing again. We stalled out right around that harmonic, and now this is super interesting because I can't even do a great projection just yet unless we come all the way back down. And this isn't the strongest area. But that's the area we have to use with this major peak high, so you can see it on the weeklies. Doing these kind of, hold on, let me take off this. But look, on the weeklies, you can see from this key low of November of 21 to the high of October, which gives us this 4,686. And then if this thing can really maintain, if the Fed's going to hike again and this thing maintains, that points to a 5 handle. But that's the only projection we can do without a really pause. Now, do I think this is going to, I think we're going to get a little short-term reprieve in this at some point, but nothing yet. So for my aspect, if you're long the yield, it's just with trailing and give it a bit of room. The bear steepening breaking out to the upside again. This could get interesting. It's really starting to move. Dollar index, still an inside day from yesterday, but still looking like it's waning momentum. So I'm out. Again, this is for any dollar longs, it's in trail mode, but watching for some kind of slight pullback. 105.55 is still key support. Crude, which came up to this 94.60 area, looking very tired at the moment. Very tired. The key support I'm looking at is coming in right where it's trading now, about 92.60, and then it's all the way back at about 91. But would not be surprised to see a short-term pause in crude. You see how far it's run in the last few weeks. Next key level, though, for crude, remember, it's between the 50 and the 62.5 from the major highs to the correction lows. And that major level is 97.60. That's the next key level. Not much in natty gas, still in consolidation. Gold, not much going on. I mean, it sold off yesterday, but not going much today. Today, still keep an eye, 1882 on a closing basis. Apple, the big 5 ones I'm watching still. We have the confirmed but not triggered double. So we could get a bounce and then a rollover play that will trigger that double. Yen stalled out at the next harmonic, 149.53. Remember, this is potential intervention zone, but nothing yet, so it's in trailing. And again, no great. We don't even have enough of a pause to give us a real great levels to project yet. So when that happens, when we can do these minor levels, which would give me the next key level about 150.32, but that's not the strongest level. Euro, there was a little pattern that triggered overnight, coming up, completing, returning, and now moving back up. So it looks like the euro's really we had that little minor double, but the euro is trying to put in at least a very short-term bottom. I'm watching any bounce into the daily rotation zone. The same with the pound that came up here already, but that's just short-term. Not much going on there. Bitcoin, nothing. Let's get to spiders and the Qs because those are important going into the quarter end. So pre-market 425.45, do the same thing. Well, you don't have to do anything, but based off that momentum at the end of yesterday, I'm doing the same thing I did with the futures. 424.91 is the first key area I'll watch in the open, then 424.26. A close below that level, 424.26. I'll watch for the retest of the low area yesterday. Other than that, if we can hold this, the key area for me is 427.50. Unless there's some momentum in the futures before there, then I'll watch for a return to about this 426.85 level and then see if we get a reversal. If we get follow through, then it has to get through 427.50 before it can really get some momentum going to the upside. So that's what I'm watching right there. The Qs, pretty much the same thing. I mean, longer term, I will be watching for the rollover. So don't mess up your time frames. Don't mistake short for longer term. But going into the open with the Qs and for today, we're looking 353.47 is the key level. Trading 353.93. So 353.47. That's where I'll start watching. If we get some key closes or momentum below there, then I'll watch for a pullback to yesterday's low area. Otherwise, the breakout play where I'll start watching for reversals is 355.58. We start getting above there. The next level is 356.28, and to get real move on is about 357. 357. Now remember, if we can get, not just for today, but even tomorrow, above 357, you have a gap left behind. The key levels, if it does get to the upside above there, 358.50 and then 359.68. There we go. Sorry, good morning, Martinez. Good morning, Connor. The 10-year is running. How high can it go? For the 10-year, for the yield? How high can it go? I think I got you that. I think the next major level would be 5, which would be logical and with the harmonics we put up there. Now, do I think that's going to happen today? No. If you're looking for something short term, again, very short term, we have to go off. Boy, this is just nothing. There's no pause here. This is the problem. The last decent pause was on the short term basis was, look, here to here, which gave us virtually the spike high. So, I mean, I'd be going off about 4.68 to 4.7 if it can continue anything to the day, but this is looking a little tired to the upside. And then, longer term, if we get another Fed hike, we could easily go to those 5s. Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla still, the level 237.34 on the closing basis, and I need a daily close below there, because it's Tesla. Other than that, remember quarter end, so we'll be getting delivery numbers, and you'll have a lot of the fanboy buying potentially. Is this a mini double? No, it's not. So there you go. There you go. To the upside, it's still now 245 is the key resistance. You get above 245. 251. NVIDIA, still trying to carve out a little bounce pattern before the next potential rollover play, but just channel. I mean, this is a really nice, just corrective channel for the time being. To the upside, this is not something I'd want to be getting long with the declining rotation zone. I'm looking for areas for rollovers in that, because if NVIDIA breaks this 405, watch out below. Did I miss anybody in here? Thanks again for putting in the the information, Sterling. I have to go back and see what Goolsby exactly said. So, is anybody still here? Is anybody still listening to me ramble on? What else? Let's just take a look at a couple other mega caps. Apple. Very key close. Even on Apple bounces, I'm watching for rollovers because the target's the 200 area right now. So any bounces in Apple, we'll watch for rollover plays. Meta, we had the spike down, but no close below the 62.5 yet. And no trade below the 75, so the double is still intact, even with yesterday's price action. I did want to cover that, but the double is still intact on Meta. Okay. Royal Palms. Hey, Jake. Hey, thank you. So, heavy dark pool prints in the XLF from right the 50% harmonic retracement from the March low. We'll see. Will you please do TMF? TMF. I don't even. Oh, geez. 20-year Treasury Bull 3-time. Good. Oh boy, I hate these things. You know how I feel about the. That's already done. I mean, geez, these don't hold up as well with the harmonics because they're so levered and you get the degradation. But the next major level, the downside, if the 30-year, 20 years keep running higher, it would be 3. To the upside, do we have any pattern here yet? No, but your key resistance is roughly 5. You start getting above 5, you could make a run to about 520, but that's it. Other than that, the problem is your timing on these has to be impeccable, and there's a natural bias against them. So for this, since the trend's been down, you have a natural, not just that it's a triple levered, you have a natural bias based off how it has to be rolled. That's why these things are super risky. But, you know, your key levels I'd be watching are 5 for anything to the upside. Other than that, would be 4, then 3. Your welcome options 22. Well, you'll see Coco the moment, like if you get a strong reversal in the Q end, then we'll see Coco and it'll say we're going to new highs. You're welcome, Anissa. So just keep in mind, you know, the most important thing, do not lose sight of quarter end. Don't lose sight if we do get momentum, especially coming in after European close. We could get momentum. So I'm just keeping an eye out for that. Check out Vail. That's it then. Vail. I haven't looked at this in a while. Oops. Sort of hit the wrong key. Look how Vail on the weekly looks like it's climbing up for a big move. I don't know. I need a better, stronger pattern than this. It's choppy. I mean, I'll have to look at this a little closer after when I get some time today. I'd probably be watching for a retest of the low area first before looking for a buy. All right. Thank you, PMG. Thanks, Jacob. I will talk to everyone later. I'll look into Vail a little more. Sterling, thanks for everybody for tuning in. Talk to you all tomorrow. Bye for now.